It is 12 noon in Oslo. It's 2:30 p.m. in Kabul. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. Anders Breivik, the man accused of murdering 77 people in Norway last year, has gone on trial in Oslo. This is Breivik as he was taken into the packed courthouse just a few hours ago. As his handcuffs were removed, he gave the room a clenched fist salute. Breivik is accused of carrying out the worst acts of violence in Norway since the Second World War. Prosecutors say he set off a car bomb in Oslo before opening fire on young people on the nearby island of Utøya. Today, he said he acknowledges the acts but doesn't consider himself guilty of the charges. CNN's Diana Magne is following proceedings in Oslo. She joins us now live with more. Diana.
Hi, Monita. Well, it is chilling to be sitting in the same courtroom as this man. As you say, when he walked in, as soon as the handcuffs were taken off, he raised his arm in a sort of fascist salute. And
Diana, as you were talking, we were showing some video there. As you were talking about the world's been watching Anders Breivik's face and his lack of emotion at some points. But of course, at some point he did show some emotion as they were reading out the indictments of what he's accused of. Diana Magne there in Oslo. Thank you for that. Well, Afghan security forces say they have cleared a building in the capital, Kabul, from where insurgents anchored themselves in a district that's home to government forces and embassies. Let's see what newspapers around the world are saying about all of this. Here in the UK, The Independent has this headline: strikes show Taliban feel no need to wait for NATO exit. It's an opinion piece that says the assaults were not entirely symbolic or aimed at a psychological victory, although both these aims were achieved. The logical course for NATO would be to listen to military commanders and leave the bulk of forces on the ground, but the political expediency at home means that this will probably not happen. Pakistan Today has an article headlined on the prospects of peace, which is reprinted from a Pashto language magazine, and it says the land of Afghanistan has proved to be area of defeat for the Allied forces. The U.S. was here in Afghanistan with an aim of seeking permanent bases in the country, but it seems that we will not be able to fulfill this aim. This is why they want to cut their losses and run now. And finally, an opinion piece in the Irish Independent under this headline: Taliban attacks, a reminder of work still to do. It goes on to say, no, not for the first time, realities on the ground have exposed the frailty of America's plans. If real negotiations with the Taliban do commence, who will have the bargaining power? It appears that the West will not be dealing with a weakened force desperate for a respite. In fact, the Taliban have strengthened their ability to influence Afghanistan's political future. It would be described as a brazen attack. This was supposed to be an area that was fortified and secure, but it seems as though the insurgents have managed to get through. It's a statement of intent, and they knew that they were targeting very secure compounds and buildings. To make a point. All right, Nick, thank you very much for that. You're watching World One live from London. An observer mission has begun in Syria, but the slaughter still hasn't stopped. A team from the UN is in Damascus to monitor a truce that seems to be falling apart. Moment in North Korea over the weekend. For the first time, the world got to hear from the country's new young leader, Kim Jong-un. This third-generation dictator addressed his nation during celebrations to honor his grandfather and the country's founder, Kim Il-sung. Our reporter in Pyongyang is Stan Grant.
Not yet 30 and supreme commander of all he sees, Kim Jong-un now stands on the shoulders of his father and grandfather. This is World One live from London. The U.S. and Colombia say they found common ground at the Summit of the Americas in Colombia over the weekend. They finalized a free trade agreement that will take effect next month. It will make most U.S. exports to Colombia duty-free, but leaders of the 33 nations at the summit could not reach agreement on whether to invite Cuba to the next meeting of the Organization of American States. But the summit wasn't all good news for the U.S. president. 11
U.S. Secret Service personnel are being investigated for misconduct after they allegedly brought prostitutes to their rooms at this hotel in Cartagena, Colombia. The latest Taliban assault comes as Afghan security forces are being prepared for the eventual departure of U.S. troops. We've been able to get some insight on how that process is going. CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh has just gone on a joint U.S.-Afghan air assault in Paktika province, and he joins us now live with more on that. Nick. All right, Nick, thank you. Nick Payton-Walsh reporting. France's presidential hopefuls are campaigning hard with just a week to go to the first round of voting. Frontrunners Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande held rival street rallies on Sunday, drawing huge crowds. Now, the other 8 candidates are also keeping up the fight, as Jim Bitterman reports.
If there was an urgency in the area, it was because the beginning of the end is rapidly approaching. The
scandal engulfing Silvio Berlusconi continues to intensify today as his trial resumes in Milan. The former Italian prime minister stands accused of hiring prostitutes for his so-called bunga bunga parties and having sex with an underage girl. We want to get the very latest now from journalist Barbie Nadeau, who joins us now from Rome. Barbie, what has the former Italian prime minister been saying about all of this?
Well, you know, Silvio Berlusconi does not deny that he paid €127,000 to 3 women.
All right, Barbie, thank you very much for that. Barbie Nadeau there in Rome. You are watching World One live from London. End of Europe's football season looming. It's crunch time in the top club competitions. Alex Thomas is here with the weekend action, and there was a lot of it.
There was, and we're going to keep saying crunch time for the next month, I think. Manchester United's manager, Alex Ferguson, says there will still be twists and turns in the race for the Barclays Premier League title.
You're watching World One live from London. Still to come on the show. Let's take a look at what's trending on social media right now. At number 3, some photos taken of Hillary Clinton over the weekend have gone viral. The pics, which appear to be taken on a camera phone, show America's top diplomat drinking beer and dancing at a cafe in Colombia. Very different from the serious pictures we usually see of her. No pantsuit in sight, and the Secretary of State sporting a big smile. Good for her. At number 2, lots of people are wishing Charlie Chaplin happy birthday on Twitter. It is the 123rd anniversary of his birth in 1889. Some people are tweeting their favorite Chaplin quotes. This one has been retweeted thousands of times. A day without laughter is a day wasted. And the trial of Anders Breivik is underway, and it's the #1 topic on the web. Google searches of his name have jumped 5,000%. Top trending terms including the hashtag Breivik, Norway and Oslo. Breivik is pleading not guilty to murder and terrorism. Well, many in the U.S. suffered a weekend of violent weather. More than 100 tornadoes hit the Midwest, many of them in Kansas. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with more details on that. Mari.
Monita, it really was quite a weekend. You know, we were expecting the severe weather, this tornado outbreak to happen. Back to you.
All right, Mari, thank you very much. You're watching World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. We'll bring you an update of the news headlines at the top of the hour right here on CNN.